All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to pre-market prep. Hope everyone's having an amazing morning, and hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Carlos. I'm doing great. Happy hump day.
Excellent. Hold on, I have you on the wrong headphones. Here we go. All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, man. Let's get into it. A great day yesterday. We had a nice, very beautiful watch list. Yesterday, again, just stuff where it was very active. We don't usually have time to get into it. The list this morning is a lot smaller. It actually fits into our gapper, so that's good. It fits into our windows. Usually, we have some craziness here, but this is okay. I mean, the markets are pretty much flat right now. We'll get into that in a second during the market pulse. But again, yesterday we had a pretty interesting watch list with Wayfair. CGC was incredible. Norm, I know you was closely watching this one. I actually kept this one because you had mentioned it. That was going to be a good one, so I kept it. And again, overall, just a lot. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What just happened? Yeah, yeah. Right, right. I mean, that was definitely the trade of the day. I mean, it was just incredible. So I know a lot of us took advantage of that move there, especially in the chat. Norm, so YouTube says they can't hear you. I'm gonna check in my end, just make sure everything is running accordingly here. Give me 1 second, guys. Make sure we have everything in line when it comes to Norm and his sound. So let's just double check here on the settings. How about the chat room? Can you guys hear us okay? Okay, excellent. All right, so let's just see here. All right, say something, Norman. I want to see that your sound is coming across. If I'm John Legend, I wish, man. I wish I had his ability to sing the way he does. The guy is amazing. All right, I am still not getting sound from you here. Yeah, we are all set, guys. Yeah, I'm still not getting any sound from you over on YouTube. So just checking here. What do we have, guys? Yeah, I'm not getting no gain from your end, which is weird because I hear you perfectly fine through my headphones. So I'm not sure why we're not picking you up over on the sound here. All right, let's do this, guys. Let's go over to the gappers list. We'll hold off on the market pulse for a second now, as we figure out this sound for YouTube. All right, guys, so let's get into what we have going on here. Let's look at our main screen. At the moment, we have a decent list, a lot of stuff gapping up. Oh, for the most part, the SPY is not doing all that much. It's pretty much flat right now. And again, we got to get back into what happened yesterday here. So we'll give it a little bit to see if this thing can resolve itself, and then we'll come back. So again, we have a bit of stuff gapping down: ET, Snap, EA, and Pin. So let's look at those quickly and see what's happening there. Over to ET. Not much activity right now, guys. This pre-market action doesn't look all that great. It looks pretty much flat at the moment. So again, nothing great there. On Snap is on here. Let's see what we got. Actually, Norm, turn on your mic on Skype and see if that pushes things through there. There, yeah, there is an echo for sure. There is an echo for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we fix one thing and then we pull the cord over on the other side. So, but we will definitely get this figured out. Okay, I think I got you. Say something now.
All right. Hopefully you got it
Beautiful thing.
fixed.
Beautiful thing.
It'll be 20
Yep.
seconds till YouTube can tell us, but go ahead.
All right, excellent, guys. So yeah, we're actually going to go back to the market pulse because I see your volume bars coming in now, and all I did was just hit
Okay.
refresh, so that works. So let's go back because I think it's important to talk about the market a little bit and what's happening here. I don't want to miss on that. This is what we kind of stopped and figure this out. So let's go back here. Noah, if you could give us an update on what's happening. This market obviously has been very interesting. What's going on here, and also what happened yesterday? We had a lot of action happening yesterday as well.
Well, I mean, we're sitting here in this range, and we've discussed it a few times. If you rewind 1 year from now, we were sitting in a range between 280 and 293, and just back and forth in that range before we finally had this great breakout above 300 all the way to the mid 330s. So we're in that range now. The VIX has been steadily coming down. It had popped up to the 80s, huge reading, finally coming back. And so now we're sitting there again, seeing if we can break out of this. We tested that moving average on the daily on SPY a little while ago, yesterday, and we've dropped from it. And then so we're gonna see if we can break out of this here. We're gonna see if we can break out of this range one way or the other. It's gonna happen. I think we might be range bound for a little bit as things get ahead. There's not a whole lot of economic data today. The only real thing was the ADP report, employment report for April that came out at 8:15. It was generally in lines with what was expected. Hard to say these massive, crazy numbers right now. It's hard to predict them. So it was essentially what people had anticipated. Then tomorrow we'll have jobless claims for last week, which are slowly creeping down week over week. Fewer and fewer people being let go, and we'll see what there is in store, man.
All right, excellent, man. Thank you for that. All right, guys, so let's get back to our list over here. So we were looking at Snap. We also have another one gapping down here, so we'll look at that next. But taking a look at Snap at the moment, again, pretty light on the volume. It only has 231,000. And again, for any typical stock, that seems like a lot of volume. But for Snap, that's pretty light. There's usually not a sign of it being in play this morning. So we'll take a look at it and we'll keep it on here. But for the most part, that is the pre-market action is not giving us anything above and beyond when it comes to a Snap. Let's look at Shop this morning. So this is Shopify. This should be gapping up.
And this is coming from somebody that loves trading stocks that are $500, $600, $700. This is essentially untradeable. A lot of the times I'm seeing a $2+ spread in it. It can move like crazy. I mean, look at some of those candles. You're talking about 5-minute candles spanning, tens and tens of dollars. It's just controlling risk on that, unless you take the smallest of share sizes, doesn't really make any sense to trade it.
Correct. And even taking, let's say, 10 shares, whatever, 20 shares, whatever number of shares you take, The price action, something else too that is very difficult to read on these type of stocks that trade like this. The price action doesn't move the same as you see in a stock that's trading at $80, 100 bucks. It's very, very different, and again, just a little bit more difficult to read. And the spread obviously is pretty decent.
Tesla's volatile. This is like Tesla on crack.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. So again, guys, we'll keep an eye on it, but it's not probably one that's going to make our final list. It's a very, very difficult stock to trade, as we just mentioned. ET we looked at. Let's look at EA. This Electronic Arts, it's gapping down this morning 3.4. They don't have much activity at the moment. They are only 113,000 in volume right now. Now EA is a stock that plenty of times we see it in play. It does gap up or down. It doesn't have a great pre-market activity unless there's some significant news behind it, but it can get active. So for that, I'm going to keep it on here. We had a couple of days last year. Yeah.
Yeah, so they had earnings they released last night, which were actually pretty decent. I'm surprised to see them gap down like this, other than the fact that maybe just their run has been so big, it's a little bit of sell the news.
Yeah.
So
Could be, absolutely. And again, this is a stock that their pre-market is not great, but if they have some news behind it at the open, they can really do something. So we'll keep an eye on it. Let's see how it is closer to that 9:30 time frame or 9:15 before we end the show. Let's look at Silk on here. This one is down 10.3. The daily chart doesn't look all that great. Also, the volume extremely light for the most part on a lot of these days on here. So I'm not seeing anything I like much on this one. It's down 10%, 139.
secondary, I believe. So
yeah,
probably won't be all that great.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip on it. So that's not great news to trade. Also, just the volume is extremely light on regular days, and pre-market is not all that great. So not a lot going for it for us to keep an eye on it. Let's look at PINS, PINS. This one, it's got a decent pre-market action right now. Got a beautiful downtrend at the moment. We have some great volume, 608. We're down 16.5 on this one. We're sitting right at a level of possible resistance. That's way too big. Support now that was prior resistance, right? Before we had this nice breakout. So I'm loving the daily on PINS. Now, PINS is not the easiest stock to trade. We've seen that because we watched it several times. But I love what's happening today. Norm, big gap down for these guys. What's the news on them?
Yeah, they had earnings last night. They reported a bigger loss than they expected. Their revenue was essentially on par with what estimates were out there. It was above some. It was essentially equal with others. But they're just talking about how they're getting hit by advertisers. That advertisers are cutting their spend right now because of the coronavirus. This is one of the. Excuse me, I'm choking. This is one of those stocks one of those companies that if they can't thrive right now, then they might have an issue. I think that's kind of what I'm seeing there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree because now everybody's stuck home. The volume of overall internet usage is increased drastically. So companies that rely on that should be doing very well, which we have seen. We have seen Snap do very well. These other stocks, just getting more traffic into their platform has been helping them out quite a bit. All right, here we have, let's go look at what is gapping up this morning. Let's look at the top 5 or 6 or so. Actually, we don't have many. We might be able to get through all of them. So let's see what we got going on here. So here's BYND, beautiful pre-market action at the moment. Yes, and they are gapping up pretty big, 9.5, 638,000 shares traded. Great pre-market action. This could be interesting, man. BYND's has been strong over the last couple of days. But what we got going on there?
They had earnings last night, stronger than expected. A lot of it has to do with supply chain issues. We've heard about companies having meat shortages and stuff, so they're getting a little extra attention over there. I guess people are picking up this since they can't find meat in places, popping it up.
Gotcha. We'll take a look at that, guys.
The restaurant sales have been nailed, but their increase in retail sales, grocery store sales have increased. So
yeah. So definitely worth keeping an eye on them. They got a great pre-market action right now, some decent volume. So looking forward to seeing that. Let's look at ATVI. So it's interesting. So EA is down. All right, as you mentioned, they had great a great report last night, and ATVI is killing it. So here we can see actually they are up nicely, 7.4, 160,000. Decent pre-market activity starting to break out here now over some new highs, and we haven't been up here in quite some time. Are we sitting at
Yeah.
all-time high? This is what I would expect from any gaming company.
No, it's not all time high or anywhere close to
Oh
it.
no, yep, yeah, we got a nice little pop here going back into 2018. I mean, this is what we expect from any gaming company during this time. People spending more time at home, more time gaming, whatever the case may be. So, what's the deal with this one
Yeah.
here?
They had earnings last night. They just demolished estimates. So
Yep,
popping
yep,
them up this morning. Like you said, people are stuck at home. A ton more gaming going on right now.
yeah. Let's take a look at GM this morning. So GM, we have a gap up of 6.5, 789. This pre-market activity is actually pretty good for GM. GM doesn't move all that much. They are a nicely stock. They have some decent volume right now. So this looks okay. Let's just hope it continues to get better and not continues to just chop around. It's a stock that's not easy to trade. It doesn't move all that well. But again, I do like this gap up today. Also the daily, although not the best. You can see some great level of support happening around 21, and now we got this beautiful pop up here with some good areas to run to that can show us some good possible targets. So what's the news on
This is one of
GM?
the 4 days of the year when people say GM in the chat room, they're actually talking about the stock and not good morning.
That's right. That
So
is
they had
absolutely
earnings.
right.
They released their earnings this morning, and actually they were pretty decent considering, the conditions that are going on right now. And they say they're going to start reopening plants. I believe it's May 18th. So
Yep, yep. So, yeah, we do, like you said, Norm. We usually do not keep this on watch at all, but today could be one of those days. Let's look at SPCE. So SPCE got an active pre-market action, 268. It is up 6.4. The daily seems to be holding a great level here at around 1650. Looks like. So we're just bouncing off of that over the last couple of days. 2 days ago, the last two trading days, we're bouncing off of that. Got a nice little pop here, 6.4. This stock is explosive, guys. It could be very explosive. It can easily hit 19 with no problem. Easily hit 21. We've seen that happen before. I like the way that it is setting up now. Another one that falls under that, not the easiest ticker to
they had
trade.
earnings last night
They
too.
did. Yeah, so
So
that could be some possible catalyst here to get this going. They need some kind of push to get above over here above this 19. So we'll keep an eye on it. Right now,
their
looking
earnings,
good.
their earnings and revenues were worse than expected. They lost more money than analysts expected them to. But for a company that really doesn't have any revenue yet, that's not. I mean, that's not that big of a deal. They announced a partnership with NASA, which is what is the main catalyst behind this deal.
Gotcha. All right, we'll keep an eye on that one. Let's look at WEN this morning. Not much going on here. Horrible pre-market action. Not seeing anything great at all. What kind of flow is this? It's 185 million. It's not a
It's
low flow, but
Yeah, that's Wendy's. It's a big one. People are now saying, "Where's the beef?" They should need to bring back those commercials from the '80s,
yeah,
because, like somebody mentioned earlier in the chat, it's something like I think they said 15% of their stores don't have any beef because of supply chain issues. So that goes back to that Beyond Meat deal.
yeah.
Um, but they had earnings last night or
Gotcha.
this morning, excuse me.
Could be a good possible, guys, if there's earnings behind it. So I'm gonna throw it down here, but right now they're not doing anything great as far as what we like to see in the pre-market action this morning. Let's take a look at CVS. CVS, it is up 3.7, and CVS pre-market action, again, this is pretty horrible right now. It's pretty flat. It's nothing great about it, but their pop is pretty decent, 3.7, and they tend to move well when they have some news behind it, which seems to look like in that case, Norm, on CVS.
Indeed, they also reported earnings this morning. So they actually they beat their estimates, and they're up on that. I think a lot of it they were talking about people stockpiling for COVID stuff, supplies, and everything else. So that's what's got them this morning.
All right, excellent. So we'll take a look at it right now. They're pre-market consolidating between these two levels for the most part. So we'll see how that develops as we get going here. Let's take a look at some other ones on there. CODX. our buddy here, CODX, is a low flow stock that has been, again, very, very active. Right now, I'm not seeing anything all that great on it. Pre-market doesn't look anything special. We're up 3%, but for the most part, we're not seeing a lot of activity out of this one this morning. So we're just going to skip on to the next one, BBL. On here, looks like a foreign stock.
Foreign mining stock, garbage.
Yep. So this is garbage. Let's move on. NCLH. You know what happened to our airlines and cruise lines on here? I'm only seeing two. They're usually, I think they have been in our gappers list.
Man.
They need a break, right? They have been in our gappers list almost every single day. I think CCL is probably my all-time traded ticker. Now with the way it has been trading, and probably for many of us too, because we've just been watching that over and over again. All right, here, here's NCLH again. Big drop over the last couple of days, coming back to a beautiful area of support here. Pre-market action right now, we're not getting anything that looks great. We do have some insane volume, 11 million shares right now. But again, a couple of probably some very huge block trades being dropped in here. But again, I'm not seeing anything all that great pre-market wise. The best thing about NCLH is where it's sitting at right now when it comes to this 11 price level, which is a great area of support, or has been over the last couple of days. And also you can see here yesterday we came right to it. They had a horrible day yesterday. Look at the volume, and they stopped right there at 11. So again, could be a good possible, guys, if the pre-market action can get better. But Norm, I know there's a lot of news over on this ticker. Anything exciting today or anything new from what we already have been discussing in the chat room?
Yeah, they had a previously announced secondary offering, and I believe they're raising debt as well, and they've increased those, so they're increasing their capital, which might help them withstand some of these problems a little bit longer than they anticipate. Yeah, as we mentioned, it came out that they said on their they said they might be unable to get through this downturn. So that I think anything that's giving a little glimmer of hope is helping them out stock price wise, but we'll see where it eventually goes.
Yeah, definitely gonna keep it down here, guys. It's a ticker that we've been at least watching very closely, especially with CCL, and I like where they're sitting at now. So this could be a good possible for later on in the day. But right now, pre-market, we're not seeing anything that looks interesting. RCL is following next here. It also doesn't look great. I'd rather watch NCLH. They have the volume. These guys only 224 and not much going on. We have CCL just making an entrance here. Let's see what's going on with them. Again, similar situation. Not much really happening right now. They have the volume though. They're 1.6 million, but really choppy pre-market action. Could be a great possible also, guys. Just a lot of news behind the cruise lines at the moment. So we'll keep an eye on those two for the most part. Let's look at Piton as our last one this morning, and we'll get over to what you're watching, Norman, in the chat. So right now, Piton, this one is doing pretty well. Up 2.1. The last couple of days has been a beautiful uptrend here for the most part. Getting back to some recent highs here over at 38, 37.57 is high of the pre-market now. Norm, what's the latest and greatest on Piton?
Yeah, they're rising on anticipation of their earnings release coming out after the market closed today.
Okay, nice. Looking forward to see how their earnings are going to be. I'm sure there's a lot of people. Their sales have increased with everything going on. I mean, I would think they're going to have some really good earnings. So we'll see. But you know what? Earnings are very tricky, guys. You know, you see sometimes stock, companies blow it out of the park, and the market reacts differently. So we'll see how this takes place here.
A perfect example is EA and ATVI this morning. They both beat, and one's up 7%, the other one's down 3.5%.
Yeah, exactly. So again, it's just very interesting how sometimes that can work. All right, guys, we have quite a bit. Norm, what do you like this morning? Disney, yeah, I saw that in the chat.
I don't know that I like it, but Disney we need to look at for sure.
Yeah, we got some.
So they
good
reported
action.
earnings. They reported earnings last night. Obviously, they're just getting hammered on broadcasting as far as ESPN goes. The advertiser hits. There's no live sports to put on ESPN or on ABC, for instance. Advertisers are canceling left and right because their stores are closed and people don't have discretionary funds to buy things anyway. And then their parks are closed, obviously. Slowly reopen. I think they announced opening of their park in China at some point in the near future. But so all over the place. But at the same time, their subscription service Disney Plus is just killing it.
I'm sure.
So if they didn't have that, if they hadn't released that last year, there's no telling. This stock could be at $50.
Oh,
But
oh yeah,
you
yeah.
know, this is on optimism for that product and things reopening. We'll see.
Hmm.
It's just it's sitting right at previous day close. So
Yeah, we
right
got.
now, who knows?
Yeah, we got some good action out of it right now. You see the volume increasing nicely here. Let's hope we got the ramp going for sure. Let's see if we can keep this nice pace of what is happening right now. You mentioned ESPN is so funny. I don't know how much time they're going to squeeze all the juice out of the last dance from Michael Jordan's thing that came out a couple of weeks
Oh yeah.
ago. I mean, every single thing is based on that. I mean, they're pulling on threads here, trying to come up with content.
Well,
That's a tough position
it's
to be in.
yeah. Well, it's either that or you're airing the Western Illinois amateur rock skipping competition. I mean, it's you know.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. So let's go into the chat. Let's see what you guys have this morning. Let's start with our chat room here. So Disney, we looked at LPSN. Let's see what we got here. Pilotfish, one of our good members in the chat, is giving us this ticker today. LPSN. This one's gapping up 18.4. Volume starting to come in. Pre-market though looks a little bit funky at the moment. Is this a low flow stock? Because I see the volume is very light as well. 1.1. At the moment. So overall, on a regular basis, they're not trading much volume. So again, I like the pop here, but everything else is not looking all that exciting right now. Now, if you're looking at possible, this is a low flow stock, and you're looking at possible breakouts, it could be a potential play.
That's 60 million shares.
60 million. Okay, it's not bad. It's not
Yeah.
bad. So again, pre-market needs to get going a little bit more. I do like the pop guys, 18%, but I'm not seeing anything all
They had
that great.
earnings last night, but it just doesn't look that interesting to me, frankly.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so let's get down over to what we have next here. BA this morning. Let's take a look at BA. Let's get it over here. I know BA is not gapping up 16%, so that's not the right info. Here we go. All right, so here's BA, guys. Pre-market action right now, pretty light for what we've seen out of BA. They're up 1%, so pretty much just hanging in there. Beautiful area of support we are having on BA, like we see with a lot of these stocks. We had a pretty big red day yesterday for most stocks, and they are just coming back towards the area where they have found support in the past, and BA has that. So BA's daily looks pretty amazing. Their pre-market action right now is not all that great, so could be a good possible, guys. We might put it on here. Let's see what we can get out of BA. The great thing about BA too, it has been trading so clean over the last couple of days, so it's good to have that one. Just keep a close eye on it. Here is SQ. SQ up 1.5, 105,000. For the most part, not the greatest pre-market action. The daily has been struggling big time, getting above the 64. We're now made a new high yesterday over here. So the interesting thing about this is that as everything dropped down and kind of made a new low and found their base, this one made a new high yesterday, new recent high, as you can see in the last couple of months. And now we're sitting here possibly trying to retest that. So that could be interesting. Good possible, guys, for later on today. And SQ, you know they're going to get the volume. It says, is it going to be tradable? Right now, pre-market action is pretty much sideways at the moment. Not all that great. And Ella, so SQ has earnings tonight. Yeah, so we could see how that's going to be.
They report tonight.
Are they doing it right after the close? Do you guys know? If so,
I have no idea. I mean, I would imagine.
That'll be good to tune into the close show, guys, because these guys are doing an amazing job going through these earnings in the afternoon. MGA, I'm not seeing any volume on this, so I'm going to skip on. Oh, I think you guys probably meant MGM. Is that it? But MGA, I'm not seeing no volume on it right now.
No volume.
Yep, and let's see. Yep, so nothing there. Let's look at Meso this morning. Meso is interesting. This one is interesting. We do have some action here on the pre-market right now. Volume is still a little bit light. It is up 14.3, but just look at this daily, guys. I'm not sure what the flow is on this one, but this daily is scary. You got a nice pop.
81 million on FinViz.
Yeah, so I'm not sure why this is trading the way it is and why the daily looks this weird, especially with that type of float.
It's a biotech, and they trade crazy like that. It's on COVID news they've been working on, so that's what it is.
I'm not sure about this
It
pre-market.
it likely trades much like a low float, even though it's not.
Yeah. So I'm not pretty much liking what I'm seeing here on this one, so we're gonna skip on that one. All right, guys, let's go over to YouTube, see what we have here. Let's take a look at Haas. See what's going on there. At the moment, no volume there, guys. Pretty light on the volume. Zero volume. So let's move on
700 shares.
Yeah, let's move on to Netflix. Netflix also very light on the volume. J&J this morning. See what we have there. See what's going on with J&J. Also, yeah, very light on the volume as well, guys. I'm not seeing anything exciting on J&J unless they're
Probably a
reporting.
block trade.
Yeah, so I'm not seeing anything on that. NIO. NIO. This one is active, guys. I don't pretty much like looking at this stock. It doesn't trade well for me, but this one you can see it's got an active pre-market, 4 million shares traded. But I don't like the way this pre-market is forming. Right, look at this crazy volume. You got this algo-like looking trades over here. Again, maybe in the afternoon it gets better or after the open, but right now I'm just not liking the way this is forming. Potential breakout though, potential breakout. If you like to trade these type of stocks, this is one where you have a potential breakout to possibly get towards some of these highs here.
I think they provided some April delivery news this morning is what's
Yep.
going on there, but it's just garbage.
Yeah, be careful with that. ABBV, we saw many of you guys are giving us that one. This one looks interesting. We got
Well,
some good volume
it
out of
does
this.
on the surface. The problem is the pre-market looks like trash, and most of the activity on it is a whole bunch of block trades, and I think they're trading on news of acquiring a company or approval to acquire a company that was already known
Yeah,
about. I
yeah,
don't know how well this will trade when the market actually opens. I
gotcha.
mean, look at the 1 minute chart. Your five looks nasty.
Yeah, this is even worse.
Look at that.
Where's that 1.3 million shares being traded? That
It's
doesn't
in
look
those
like.
couple of candles you got
Yeah,
down there,
yeah.
man.
So that doesn't look good
Yeah,
at all.
that's block trades.
Yeah, guys. So again, I know most of you that like this one right now or mentioning are probably looking at this beautiful daily, right? The daily looks great, guys. This is a nice pop here. It looks like a possible breakout, but this intraday trading here on the 5 and the 1, so far in the pre-market don't look all that exciting. All right, let's take a look at one last one, Tesla, and we'll get to announcements. Tesla this morning, this will be a fun one to watch. I mean, it's not doing all that much compared to what we saw yesterday. Yesterday just had an amazing pre-market activity, but this is a good one to watch. I like it because Tesla can always surprise you, and they have been so strong over the last couple of days. They are sitting somewhat of an area where they like to have found before some resistance, some support, more resistance, and we came back and tested that yesterday again. They didn't drop as much as some other stocks where they're dropping all the way to the lowest levels of the last couple of days. This one is maintaining here, so I definitely like the way this is setting up. Pre-market, even with the light volume, you do have a decent flow of the pre-market, right? Compared to like a CVS when we saw earlier. Let's go back to CVS. Look how horrible this is. It's just going sideways, not doing all that much. So Tesla's a good one to watch. All right, guys, let's get over to our market pulse, and then we'll come back and do some levels of support and resistance.
Or the
here.
announcement.
Announcements, yes. Sorry about that. Announcements.
That's all right. Hey, guys, we've got our podcast we've been announcing this week. It took a while to get this set up, but we're really excited to have it. We've got the Bear Bull Traders podcast, Talk with Traders. If you go to any of your favorite podcast platforms, such as Spotify, Captivate, iTunes, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Castro, Podcast Addict, or Player.fm, search Talk with Traders, and you will be able to find it. Should have that logo that you see on the screen associated with it. A couple other platforms we're still working to have it put on, but should be out everywhere soon. Right now, it's loaded with a couple of discussions we've had in the past, like last week's success webinar with Mike Bellafiore and Dr. Steenbarger. But we will have fresh, exclusive podcast content on this coming very, very soon. Tonight is Andrew's webinar on how to use how he uses moving averages for his short-term trading. That's 8 p.m. in the webinar room. And then next week we've got Mike B, our own Mike B, talking about creating a God, I cannot speak this morning. Creating a trading business plan, and that'll be at its normal time of 8 p.m. in the webinar room as well next Wednesday. As far as psychology goes, Dr. Kat spoke last night in the webinar room about how to maintain balance. That should be up on the website soon. Next week, Mike will be doing his module 3, the importance of discipline in trading. That'll be at 8 p.m. next Tuesday night. Speaking of Mike, he'll be with Peter and Brian again today on our Market Close show, our closing bell on Wall Street. That you can find on YouTube, or if you're in the chat room, it'll be here. But the pictures I have stuck in my head of Peter now, he's becoming a meme in his tuxedo. I've seen one with him as the Tiger King dude, but Peter, if I was going to go to increase the hair, I don't know that I'd do a bleach blonde mullet, Peter, but do what you like. And then I saw him standing up in some plaid shorts and his
Y-
tuxedo top. So that
That was
was,
a scary
uh,
part. I'm like, why is he getting
yeah, I'm gonna
up?
have nightmares. I'm gonna have nightmares over that one. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. They've got earnings, everything else. So check them out. 3:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube if you are not a member of the chat. And if you're on YouTube, like to try out the chat room, you can do so at a discount. Use the promo code premarket24. That'll give you a week in the chat room, 7 calendar days. So Carlos had a question yesterday. It was really interesting. Somebody asked, is it a week, 7 trading days, or it's 7 days? It's 7 calendar days.
Yeah.
And really, I think the best way to do this is if you sign up on a Saturday or Sunday. That way you can get all set up, ready to go for Monday morning, get the full experience. You can do the Monday onboarding class your first day, and then apply that to the 4 days after for the rest of the week. Does not auto renew or turn into any other kind of membership or anything like that. Just a week, and then it's over. If you don't like it, hope you find a great community that works well for you. If you do, we're always here.
All right, excellent, guys. Thank you for that, Norm. All right, folks, let's get to it. We have a decent watch list this morning. Let's go through it first and kind of see which one we're going to keep. What's not looking great by now, we can kind of remove from here. So Snap, someone mentioned earlier, this was not looking great at all. Someone mentioned as we were moving forward that they had a nice big pop here. So this is getting a little bit interesting now. We can definitely take a closer look at it and see how that is going to play out later. Here is this one we're going to remove. We talked about this one. It's extremely difficult to trade. It's a very high price stock. Again, it's just no room for us in this one here today. EA, you know what? EA, I'm going to remove because their action is just not there. But I'm interested in to see what's going to happen later in the mid morning with EA, and the reason is because again they had great earnings and they're gapping down. This could be a possible way to start closing this gap. If it starts trending. So again, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I want to keep a close eye on it as a possible down at the bottom here. Pins is good, guys. Great pre-market action right now. Good volume. We'll keep that one down huge, 16%. BYND, beautiful pre-market as well. So a nice pop. We want to see what's going on there. ATBI, we can definitely keep an eye on. Aside from EA not doing much and down this morning, this one, has a great response to their earnings release yesterday, and they're up 7%, 198,000. GM, I'm telling you, GM today could be the day that we trade it because it is trading very nice pre-market right now. Great volume, nice pop. So we'll keep an eye on that. SPCE. SPC, I'm going to put it down as a possible. There's nothing wrong with the stock. It's got some decent volume, good pre-market, but I know I'm not going to watch it. So we'll put it as a possible. If we're going to get some time, we can get into it and see how that's going to trade today. Here is CVS. CVS, for the most part, the only thing that this thing got going for is this beautiful pop of 3%. And again, over the last couple of days has been trading pretty nice. Two green days back to back here. And now we got a nice big pop, testing the previous highs here that we had at 65. So the pre-market high, pretty close to that area. Giving some back this morning. This gap can create some kind of movement for us today. We'll do some levels there. Piton is also nice as well. Let's see if we can get over to that 38. They have earnings after the close today, so we can see some activity as we prepare towards that earning release later today. Disney's great, guys. It wasn't looking all that exciting. Now we have a beautiful red to green move here, trying to stay above this previous day close, and also the excitement here happening at around this level where the previous day close is, which has been an amazing area of support for Disney. And here is Tesla. We'll keep an eye on that. So I think we had a pretty good list, guys. I didn't remove much besides EA and SPCE. The rest here are looking pretty good. So let's go through them. Here is Snap, guys. We were going to remove this one, but they have a nice big pop here that could be interesting. Could still be one that gets removed if after this pop we don't get any type of continuation of this action, trying to get above the previous day close. High of the pre-market sitting at 1732. Towards the top, you got some pretty good levels. Previous day close and the high from yesterday's got you pretty much covered. Again, you need a lot to get Snap moving. If you can get 15 cents out of this stock, that is a really good move. Make sure you take advantage of it and take some profits off. Towards the bottom, low of the pre-market sitting at 1680, and then below that, a beautiful base right here at 1650. Got a nice little area of support. You also got a moving average coming in right below this low of the pre-market at 1682. So that is Snap. Let's see if the continuation is going to continue here. If we're going to get a continuation after this this nice big move here, this nice big pop with some very good volume. Here is Pins. So Pins is kind of down a bit today. They are high of the pre-market 18.10. The low of the pre-market sitting at 17.10. Towards the bottom, guys, great area of support here. Several days using this as their support area. You can see how many days have bounced off this 1638, 1640 area before they bounced up. The low of the pre-market is at 1707, and you do have a moving average also coming in slightly below that. So again, that could be also another area that you can watch. But this one here, 1638, definitely a great area of support if we're going to head towards the bottom here. Right now, it's pretty much flat on his range, right? It's right in the middle of the range that it has created between 1809 and 1707. Just kind of sitting right on there, deciding what's going to be the next step. Let's see what it wants to do here. If it breaks out of this 1808, if we come back and test this pre-market high, we do have a daily level here that can now be resistance around 1857. You also have a moving average slightly above that, so that could be a good area. Then after that, above that, you have your highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Got you covered. BYND, guys, again, this was popping up nicely. Beautiful pre-market activity. This is probably one of the best pre-market access we have in our watch list today. So looking forward to see how they're going to trade at the open. I'll be keeping an eye on them. They got some pretty good volume as well. High of our pre-market sitting at 112 with 73. The low is sitting at 106.08. And then towards the top, if we can break out of this 112.73, 116.41 is the most recent high that we have seen on BYND here. So, and then towards the bottom, if we lose the low, you're very well covered with the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. And the previous day close. Got some pretty good decent levels towards the bottom there. Let's head over to ATVI. This one continues to be very active and is ripping higher now. Hopefully it doesn't run too much here. 71.33 low of the pre-market, and high of the pre-market. It looks like it's going to be possibly broken, but I am going to mark down 74 for now. It looks like it might want to break out of that the way it's setting up right now. So let's just go to the left. I know this is not all-time high, as Norm mentioned earlier. So now let's go into our weekly chart and go back into 2018 and find some levels in here. So clearly this level 84.57, a good level for this year. Another one is right on here, 79.31. You can see how that has played a part during this time here. And also in here, right in here, I would love to have a level between 79.31 and the pre-market high right now where the price action is. But in here, if you look at this range, I'm not seeing a good area where we're seeing a major change in direction. We see it here. We see it clearly here. You can mark this one as well, 81.81. And we see it here, right? Clear change in direction, loss of momentum. In here, you're not seeing that. So this will be, what I'm going to do here is this going to be a minor area of support and resistance. 77.42 is what I want to mark down. So in here, guys, you got several days using that as resistance. You're not getting the beautiful change in direction like we're seeing here, but I think this area could possibly be a place where you can find some loss of momentum. All right, we're breaking out of that 74. Let's see if we can actually hold, or we're going to come back here on ATVI at the moment. So let's head down over to GM. GM looks like it has this breakout look, like it's consolidated here nicely. Let's see if we can test back the highs of the pre-market sitting at 22.27. So we'll put our levels on there. Above that, guys, we do have a great level at 24. Clear change direction on there, and then a minor support and level here at a resistance at around 23.73. You have this day here where we had a nice big range opening, closing around this area here, and these several days on here opening, closing, and bouncing off that 23.73 as your minor support. Major support obviously 24.56, and then towards the bottom you got plenty of support down here, guys. You got some moving averages coming in there, highs and lows, previous day close, all in this area. CVS, let's see what's happening there. Again, the only thing I like about CVS right now is this beautiful pop. Aside from that, pre-market action is still not looking great. Might end up in our secondary list. High of the pre-market 64.91 being confirmed also by the day's action here. Look at the beautiful rejection and heading back down. Towards the bottom of this pre-market high, we do have an area here that I think could be a good one. We got 2 days at least testing the 64 area, the whole dollar number. You got a nice change in direction there a week or two ago, and then also here being tested on this day here. here. Then towards the bottom, guys, if we lose this pre-market low, 62 is obviously going to be an area you want to keep an eye on. This whole dollar number is important, but you have some really major levels below that, which is this 61 area where your previous day closes and your highs and lows are listed here. So if this thing decides to come back down, again, we went as high as 64, but right now we're giving some back, but we really have not lost this pre-market low yet. So if we get close to that number, let's see what we're going to do there. Here is Piton. So again, their most recent high at 38. High of the pre-market sitting at 37.57, so let's mark that down. And the low of the pre-market pretty close to what the high from yesterday and the previous day close was, so we got that listed right on there. So they're looking okay right now. I know they have earnings after the close. Again, pre-market action is looking interesting. We'll see what we can get out of this one in a couple of minutes. Here is Disney, guys. So Disney also trying to hold on to their great level that they have here, which is around this 101 area right on there. So you see great area of support. Price action is sitting right on there. They have a great pre-market activity here, guys. They went red to green for a second, just kind of just wrapping themselves around this previous day close line. Towards the top, your high of your pre-market now is at 101.65, and then towards the bottom, your low of your pre-market all the way at 98.60. But above that, we do have some pretty good areas of support that we have seen this stock bounce off from before in the past pretty well. 99.65, plenty of areas that have hit that price level right on the nail, right on the head, and then you can see here bouncing back up nicely. All right, if we are able to break out of this pre-market high at 101.64, right in here, guys, not a major level, minor level of support and resistance at 102.53. You have several days opening, closing, and bouncing off of that, but you're not getting, again, like we mentioned earlier, that nice rejection in change of direction. Tesla, all right, Tesla is above the previous day close right now, slightly 1.3. Pre-market low sitting at 175.67. Right in this area here, so we'll mark that down. Right now, not doing much pre-market action wise, so I might move this down to a possible, guys. As much as I like the daily chart, as much as Tesla has been very strong, looking at it now, still not doing all that great. I might move this one down. Pre-market high right now sitting at 784.44. Above that, you got the highs from 2 days ago, and then all the way up here, guys, obviously the most recent high at 869. So wow, and just insane. All right, that is what we have, guys. Let's just recap real quick. We have Snap, got a nice pop here. We have Pins looking pretty decent. BYND's great pre-market activity. ATBI continues to truck higher here. I like that one as well. GM, you know what? GM has got to come down to a possible here. We have a lot on our possibles list, guys. We're not going to go through them, but we have some good ones here that we can look at later in the day. CVS is going to come down as well. As much as I love this pop here, again, it's just the pre-market. It's not. I'm not attracted to it right now. It's not showing me anything that looks great. Let's look at Piton is good. Disney and Tesla, I'm gonna move down as well. I think Tesla needs a little bit more juice to become attractive right now. All right, we got a decent list, guys. Let's see what other moderators are watching. Let's start here with Eamon. Eamon has ATBI, Piton, NCLH, secondary GM, and BYND. Thor is watching GM, his buddy CCL. I think Thor has traded CCL as many times as you traded Apple. Was it last year, Norm, that you were just trading Apple for the watch sale rule? Or was it
2 years ago?
2 years ago, okay.
2018, yeah.
Yeah, so he is just killing it with that stock, so good for him. And he's watching Uber, Backup, CVS, and Piton for the moderators. And Norm, what do you like this morning? What are you watching?
I still might take one or two off this, but as of right now, I've got Beyond GM, Norwegian, Pins, aka Pine Trust, ATVI, CVS, EA, Piton. That's what I got for the moment. So
Excellent.
actually, I've got LPS in on my list, and it looks interesting.
And
It
right,
doesn't have a lot of daily volume. It's squeezing up on news. It's got I think the short ratio is about 6 days, so 6 days to cover under average volume. So it might be interesting.
you know what? If you say interesting, I'm going to put it on here. because we saw what happened yesterday with that CCHGG. That was a very nice trade. All right, guys, I think we have a decent list. BA is worth watching. Let's take a look, see what's going on with BA. Yeah, I think it is. Again, these stocks that have been in play for the last couple of days and given us some good opportunities. BA, the airlines, the cruise lines, they're coming. Their cruise lines starting to come up here as well. They're worth watching, guys. The great thing about this market is so volatile. You're gonna get opportunities almost in a lot of stocks that you normally would not get. We would never have a watch list this big or a possible list this big. I mean, it doesn't happen during normal market conditions, but this market has brought in a lot of volume, a lot of stocks trading well. And again, it's all about find that trading pattern. Don't just assume that everything is tradable. Stick to your pattern, stick to your rules. And when you see something that looks good, then execute. All right, guys, take care. Thank you for joining us, the pre-market show. We will see you again tomorrow and at the close today, 3:30. Remember, we have some really good earnings happening at the close. I'm sure Mike, Peter, and Brian are going to take us through that, so don't miss out. Take care, guys.
Take care, guys. Trade safe. SDC looks interesting.
SDC, I see some people also bringing that up in the chat here. Let's see what's going on there. Oh, nice big pop on SDC. Yeah, let's add SDC on here as well.